So, no, I wouldn't say I have a passion for HR.
Welcome back to Human Resources for the People. It's a human capital revolution. Today we're going to be talking about the new Teamsters contract with UPS. There's a lot of things that came from it that are pretty interesting. We want to talk about it today. So first off, we've got this tweet from the Teamsters. We've changed the game. Teamsters win a historic contract. And we're going to dig into that. I mean, they consider it to be an overwhelmingly lucrative contract that raises wages for all workers. And the National Negotiating Committee has unanimously endorsed it. It's 5 years, okay, a 5 year contract. And now the Teamsters have to vote on it. So this contract, while it's being tentatively agreed upon, is not confirmed yet, and that is important. The employees will have to vote on it, the union members. The general president, Sean O'Brien from the Teamsters, said the union went into this fight committed to winning for our members. We demanded the best contract in the history of UPS, and we got it. UBS sunk $30 billion into their workers. So let's talk about this and let's talk about what happened. I speculated a little while ago that I didn't think that this was going to go the distance to an actual strike, and it obviously didn't. Now remember, when they say these things, when the National Negotiating Committee say these things, they're expecting it to be a sales point for their workers who have to approve it. So you see a lot of marketing, and you also see a lot of sort of posturing. And I want to contrast that with a few of the things that happened, right? UPS CEO Carol Tomei said, "Together we reached a win-win-win agreement on the issues that are important to Teamsters leadership, our employees, and to UPS and our customers. This agreement continues to reward UPS's full and part-time employees with industry-leading pay and benefits while retaining the flexibility we need to stay competitive, serve our customers, and keep our business strong." So I want to highlight here, and listen, this is PR all the way around, not just from the company, who seems to be very, I don't know, proactive, very considerate of the workforce and considerate of their people. And they potentially could not be, right? But they are. This is a sales pitch ultimately. But I think it's interesting that the UPS sales pitch is, look how we reward people, look how it's a win-win-win-win, whatever. And then the Teamsters leadership positions itself as very much, this is what we did for our people, and it had nothing to do with valuing the company. And I'm not sure that you should value your company, right? But it doesn't appear to be very cooperative. For me, this indicates that they could have strong-armed UPS into winning, and they wanted to brag about it. On the opposite side of that, they still do need to sell this to their members, and their members need to feel that they've been fought for. And so there may be a component here with respect to the differences from the UPS CEO, Carol Tomei, and the Teamsters President O'Brien. So let's go over their demands. They wanted to end a two-tiered wage system in which part-time workers earned an average of about $5 less than full-time workers. They wanted MLK Day off as a paid holiday. They wanted to stop requiring UPS employees to work overtime on their days off, as well as add fans and install air conditioning in many trucks. And in addition, there were the concerns about the part-time workers. The UPS said that they were making about $20 an hour. Teamsters president said that, quote, they're paid poverty wages, but no specific wages that they were making. And I think that is, well, I believe 20 an hour is somewhere around the average wage for most Americans, something around that. So I think that's pretty interesting. So we know that they did not end the two-tiered wage system in which part-time workers earn an average of about $5 per hour less. They closed that gap, but they did not end that system. I don't know if they won, if the Teamsters won on the MLK Day. There's no evidence of that yet. And they did win on installing fans in many trucks. That actually had been done quite a while ago. I think that was done a month ago, if I recall correctly. And then finally, on requiring UPS employees to not work OT hours on their days off, that also was ended. So of the four things that they were looking for, they got at least two of them. We don't know about one, and they did not get one as well. So if that represents a success, then great. I think that those seem fairly small. For example, getting an extra holiday is not very difficult. The overtime hours is really important, and anyone who has to have work a mandatory OT, they know how terrible that is, and that was big. I imagine that increasing part-time workers' wages was only in order to give more hours to full-time workers. I imagine that it changes the company's perspective on how they fill those gaps, and so I imagine that more or part-time workers will tend to go away, and more full-time workers will be filled. Current workers will get $7.50 an hour more during the 5-year contract. I actually think that that is kind of low. I mean, based on assuming you're full time and full time workers are averaging $49 an hour over the course of 5 years, that does not seem like a win, right? It's directionally 3% a year, which most companies get. And frankly, especially with the wage inflation that's happening over the last few years, it's even worse than that, right? I mean, there are a lot of people that are getting significantly more than that because of the increases in inflation that I do think will continue, and ultimately it will not play a huge role. They're getting 2.75 more this year, which I think is significant, right? So it seems like their contract is front loaded, and that's probably how they got agreements from the union, is that the wage increases are up front this year, and then they tend to peter out in the subsequent years. Let me know what you think about the new contract. Do you have perspectives? Are you excited if you're a UPS driver? Does this look like a win to you? I don't know. It seems significant, but not groundbreaking, not absolutely landscape changing as has been bragged. But I do think it is a pretty good agreement. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye, guys.